Good evening everyone. There are certain people in the world who may seem straightforward on the surface, but harbour something about them that is just off. Be that in the way they act, or the fact that they are part of an apparently reclusive culture who you never ever see members of, but just happen to turn up when someone else like them is already hanging about. Today we're looking at the totally just a trader and not suspicious at all, travelling merchant from Terraria. The travelling merchant appears to be a relatively youthful man, despite appearing to have somewhat grey hair, who wears ornate and rich coloured clothing, along with a matching top hat with a distinctive feather in it. They can be intermittently encountered, selling rare and unique wares, when they arrive at a settlement seemingly at random, before leaving just as suddenly. While going by several names, much like many others in Terraria, such as Gallius, Llewellyn, Romeo and Willie, they are usually referred to simply as the travelling merchant. Relatively little is known about the travelling merchant, other than that he intermittently comes and goes, seemingly at his own whim, selling specialist items that cannot be obtained anywhere else, some of which apparently not originating from Terraria in the first place. Some evidence about his nature can be gathered from his attire and the items he sells, however, along with another individual who dwells in the champion of Terraria's settlement. Some speculate that he dresses in a similar way to that of a steampunker, and may hail from the same place she does. While unconfirmed, it has been hypothesized that the steampunkers are a reclusive people who rarely interact with the outside world, so it is highly unusual that one would be actively venturing out into the world to sell goods, and even less likely that they would end up in the same place as one of their countrymen. This has led to the idea that the travelling merchant is in reality a spy of sorts, sent to keep tabs on the steampunker after it is theorized that she stole the contaminator in order to deliver it to the champion, having more faith that they could save their home rather than their own people, who continually struggle to combat the encroaching biomes of light and night. While it may seem counterproductive to send a spy in apparently recognizable garb, it could have simply been because the steampunkers were unaware of what attire would allow their agent to blend in with the outside world, although it could also be a deliberate act in order to intimidate the steampunker, let her know that she was being watched by her people, while everyone else around her thought this travelling merchant was merely what he appeared to be. Despite what may be his primary objective, the travelling merchant does live up to his name, selling a variety of unique wares, seemingly from his homeland. This may be done as a secondary objective, in order to make some quick money to take back to the steampunkers. However, it is less the fact that he sells items at all, which is interesting, and more what he sells. Among a variety of useful and decorative items, which are usually variants on what is already available to the champion, he also sells items which do not appear to belong in Terraria, and may herald from different realities entirely. Items such as the Star Princess attire, the Sergeant United shield, and the Companion Cube. Apparently otherworldly items have been identified in Terraria before, but never have they been linked to a single individual in this way, and it could be that most of these items found in the world originate from the steampunkers. Because of their innate ability to invent and build, it could be proposed that alongside the contaminator, the steampunkers were also working on a device that would allow them to escape Terraria rather than cure it, seeking to travel through an artificial dimensional rift, similar to the ones traversed by the Barkeep and Deerclops, and obtaining random items from alternate realities in their experiments that were then discarded and collected by different creatures in the world. If this is the case, then the walls of reality in Terraria are remarkably thin, as this is just another example of portals between worlds being opened, and doesn't even account for similarly extra-dimensional items held by entities such as the Moonlord. While appearing on the surface to be just another merchant, as exemplified by the skeleton merchant, these individuals are rarely as cut and dry as they appear. While it is at this point mere speculation, the very idea that the travelling merchant could be an agent of an advanced culture sent to spy on one of the champion's colleagues, potentially with intent to abduct and return her to her people, is enough to increase his notoriety. But added to that, the fact he may be involved with controlled trans-dimensional travel experiments makes it easy to assign him a notoriety of high. So that random guy that turns up on your doorstep and sells you stuff may very well be more sinister than you initially thought. Be honest though, there's always something about him that didn't seem quite right. Was it the hair? It's a hair, isn't it? Although I'm pretty sure that's just dyed and has no more significance beyond being a fashion choice. Anyways, I've rambled on for long enough today, so don't forget to subscribe for more course content and become a patron if you want to support the lecture series. Also, remember to buy my book. That's very important. Until next time though, and don't trust door-to-door salesmen. I mean, that's just good advice, whatever the situation.